That's sad. I feel like this is me. I thought it might be interesting to film the process of my BFA thesis exhibition show. I'm going to explain what that is a little bit. So basically my university does it a little differently. So you can do like a BSA, which is Bachelor of Studio Arts, and that's what I was doing. So that's like the normal 4 years, whatever. Or you can apply to be a Bachelor of Fine Arts student, and it's like this whole application process, and you basically submit a portfolio, and then a panel of judges decides if you are accepted into the program, which I was. So once you're accepted, you basically work for a 1.5 years extra to work on an exhibition of your own art. It's basically to give you time to like work in the studio and develop your own artistic sensibilities and style, and put together a show of art. So this is my first semester in BFA, which is what I'm going to refer to it as, which stands for Bachelor of Fine Arts. My concentration is technically in 3-dimensional arts, like sculptures or ceramics, but really I stick more to 2D, 2-dimensional art, like drawings and paintings are what I like. But I'm honestly just up to explore whatever, and I'm in my first semester of the BFA program, and in this semester we're supposed to like experiment and do different experimentations with different materials, and honestly whatever you want. This is like my first time having to do like artworks that are conceptual, like have a conceptual meaning behind them. Usually I mean sometimes they do have meanings, but sometimes they're just, you know, a design I liked. So it's really exciting because I get my own little studio space. It's like a shared studio area, and then we all have little cubicles almost in them. So I have my own little 2 walls and a little easel and a little table. Yeah, so right now I've just been like messing around with things in the studio. Tonight I'm gonna go in. I just worked till like 3 p.m. and now I'm gonna go into the studio. It's like the Super Bowl tonight, and I was gonna try to be home and like watch it with my family, but honestly I decided I just kind of want to be out of the house. Like I just don't. People just screamed because I don't really like all the yelling, and yeah, I'm just I'm not really into football, but yeah, I just don't really want to be here for that. So I think I'm gonna like go to the studio until I get bored of it and then maybe I'll go get a drink or something. It's a Sunday night. But I don't know, I want to show you my outfit too because it's super cute. I wore it to the bookstore. Also, look at my beautiful hair. Do you like it? Ooh, cute. This is my outfit. Ooh, I like the little slit in the side so you can see my boots and my pants. It's like this lacy dress I thrifted from Goodwill for like $5. Oh yeah, so I'll just talk about a little bit what I've been doing for my BFA. So for the BFA, you have to have a committee of 3 professors to critique your work midway through. And I'm sure people know what a critique is, but a critique is basically where you have your artworks up, and then there's a group of people, and the people say what they think is successful about the drawing or painting or whatever it is, and what they think that it can improve, or they give you ideas of things like different materials or like ways to use the materials or things to change just in general. So that's the time that they could say, oh, I really like this. I think the use of charcoal is successful. I think, you know, things like that. Or they could say, I hate it. Or they could just say, the anatomy of the hands in this drawing, you need to work on those, or, you know. So you just basically get feedback about your artwork. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but I do it a lot in my classes. But this is different because it's a bunch of professors instead of just my peers. I have 3 committee members. And then I have a mentor basically for BFA. So every week or every other week I meet with my mentor, and we have like a little like hour meeting. We go over the work that I've done and what I'm doing and just talk about everything for my exhibition. And so last week me and AB had a meeting. We went over some of my paintings from last semester, and that went well. There wasn't like a ton to say. She gave me feedback that one of my artworks should be, which this is actually kind of exciting, but she gave me the feedback that I should change the orientation of my painting, so completely flip it the other direction, like almost upside down. So we'll see how that goes, and then maybe I might restretch the canvas because there's like some weird bubbles. It's just store-bought canvas. Might make it a bit smaller so there's less free space at the top or the bottom, depending on how you look at it. Oh, also, I don't mean to be talking so much. I'm gonna like also go to the studio and show you some of that. She told me I've been working with drawing dolls and kind of what that symbolism could mean. I've been really drawn to like feminine art or art about experiences as a woman or femininity. So that's what I'm drawn to, but I'm not super specific about what the exhibition's gonna be about yet. But she told me, we were like, oh, what can I do this week? What can I work on before our next meeting? And she suggested that I go to this like haunted museum downtown. So I'm gonna go to this haunted museum with haunted baby dolls, and apparently there's like one part where you have to like douse yourself in holy water. So I'm like, I'm gonna go with my friend, I think, because I don't want to get haunted alone. I need someone to get haunted with me. But sometimes I just think like there's people that are studying to be doctors and things, and my homework is to go to a haunted museum. Also did a drawing for my drawing class, and I used kind of a different material than normal. I used makeup to do my drawing. I made like this cabinet shape, abstracted cabinet shape. I had this whole big plan for it, like all these other details and things that I was gonna do to add to the cabinet drawing. And my professor came up to me and was like, do you think you're like almost finished, or do you think you're starting this drawing? And I was like confused, and I was like, I mean, I'm just starting it. Like, to me, I was like, duh, it doesn't look finished at all. And they like took a moment to pause, and they go, no, I think you're done. I think you're done with it. And in that moment, my mind was blown. I was like, what do you mean? It's not done. Like, I barely started. And then I took a step back to look at it. And it was like, that's so right there. Like went into my eyes. Whoa. And I was like, you're right. I am done. It's just so silly, but that kind of pushed me in a new way. I ended up making this like abstracted cabinet out of makeup. I had a little bit of trouble because since makeup is supposed to be temporary, it kind of just, I felt like every day I would come into the studio, it would be a little bit lighter than the day before. And it had like a weird reaction too. I kind of felt like with the fixative spray that I sprayed over top, which it ended up being fine. That's what I had to do because I didn't want it to disappear. But yeah, so me and my professor decided, my mentor decided that I should make another iteration of the cabinet drawing, but like do something different, a different object. So I'm gonna use a different color of makeup. I'm trying to make them like different skin tones almost, but there's gonna be monochromatic. I just want to document this process so I'm not, it's a lot of work. I feel like my family and friends, like I know that they know that I'm busy, but I don't think that they know exactly what I'm up to. So that's kind of fun to have it like documented. And then hopefully I'll feel like this is more of like a process, like rounded process. None of this is going to be like straightforward, or like there might be so many things that I start and I never like finish the drawing or the painting or whatever it is. Or yeah, it's kind of just about play and experimentation for this semester. And yeah, but I'm excited. I don't know how to go, but I feel really on top of things right now. So that's good. And then the biggest thing that's for the BFA right now that I have to worry about is for midterms. I'm gonna have that big midterm critique with all my professors. So that's gonna be in March, like mid-March, which are we, and we're in February, beginning of February right now. So honestly, I just need to make a lot of work. Yeah, so that's all I had to say. I just wanted to like preface this a little bit so you knew what was going on. And I don't think I really want to be talking at my studio since it's a shared space. But yeah, I'm excited. Leave a comment down below if you're like doing your school's BFA program, or if anyone ever has any ideas, because honestly, art thrives in environments where there's like open dialogue, and so many people have great ideas about things. Like, it's almost like maybe a person wouldn't have thought about the drawing that you're making, but now that they see the drawing that you're making, they start coming up with all these great ideas. So if you ever have any suggestions or you think I should change anything, let me know. I mean, don't be mean about it, be professional. So I'm gonna head to my studio now. Here's a little update on my BFA work. For my drawing class, we have to make a drawing based abstractly on a feeling. But I'm doing something a little bit different, not exactly that, but I want to do something about okay, this is my favorite feeling, domestic labor. Yeah, it's my favorite feeling. No, like domestic labor, so I'm going to use, since it's abstract, I'm going to use different interesting materials. So I'm going to use sponges and like Bristol pads, and I don't have steel wool, but that would be cool. I think I might get rubber gloves, and like, it's so weird to describe art because I sound so, I'm just like, what am I talking about? I don't know, but it makes sense in my head. But I'm gonna be using like some rubber sponge or rubber gloves to make marks, and then I was thinking it would be cool if there's some way I can make bubbles. So you know, like when you're little and you make bubbles with like soap and paint and stuff, and then you blow them on the paper. I think I'm gonna do that, and I just want it to be really layered, and maybe I'll like do some bubbles and then I'll mask that off with paper so I can't, like, it'll keep the white space, and just go crazy, honestly. And I'm gonna use, since it's a drawing class, I'm probably not gonna use paint because that would not work. But I'm gonna try to see if I can use some ink, because that's a drawing material that we use and it has the same sort of texture as paint. like liquidy paint. But I happen to have some blue ink, so I'm gonna use blue ink so it looks like bubbles, blue bubbles. And my plan is just to like stamp on there and scrape things and scratch things, and maybe I'll rip a hole in it, because maybe it's like, maybe the feeling is like rage. You know when you're like rage cleaning and you're like, I'm so pissed, I just need to move and like clean, and you're like, ah. And then like add that to like the pressure, societal pressure on women to do domestic labor and things, and I just imagine you're like, I'm fucking sick of like taking care of this house. What am I talking about? I don't know. And you're like, ah, and you're like scrubbing really hard, and you're like, ah, but make it art. I sound insane, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm gonna do that in class today. I'm gonna wrap this up by telling you my artist statement for the BFA. This is like a work in progress, so it's gonna change, but this is just like a little overview of what I'm focusing on. My work explores the cultural and social aspects of being a woman, usually within domestic spaces. I create modest artworks without grandeur in favor of intimate reflection, exploring how gender expectations are quietly inherited and internalized. Representing generations of women whose dreams were redirected by familial expectations. I explore themes of infantilization of women through a combination of traditional media, such as oil painting, drawing, and book arts, and unconventional mixed media. I focus on fragmented anatomy, mirroring how women are reduced to physical parts rather than being viewed as a whole person. My practice is inspired by play and the repetition of craftwork processes. My focus is on hand building. I employ documentation of my process within the artwork itself through gestural mark making and imperfections that cannot be replicated by machines. I use my body as a tool for manipulating materials, sometimes incorporating materials from my body itself, like strands of hair. Visually, my work is soft, frivolous, and feminine at first glance. Easily underestimated, inviting intimate reflection where truths are revealed, imitating the overlooked reality of women in favor for their aesthetic appearance. My art creates quiet spaces of reflection that allows the viewer to resonate with and question their conditioned biases. Thanks for watching. I'm excited to do the rest of the BFA. I'm only on semester 1, and usually it takes about a year and a half, so I'm excited to just explore more. So thanks for watching.